Hey Bible friends, Austin here. Today I'm trying out a new computer filter, and what it does, it makes me look like I've got a haircut. You're not falling for that, are you? Okay, I got a haircut, and it ended up a whole lot shorter than I thought it was going to, but we're just going to have to go with it. Maybe I can find a filter that makes my hair look like it did before. Okay, so what brings me to this review today is I got a comment from a viewer a couple weeks ago that said they couldn't find the NIV Life Application Study Bible for less than $200 or something like that. So I started doing some digging and looking around on Amazon and some other places, and sure enough, I couldn't find the Life Application printed anymore, and the ones I was finding were used, and they were $200 to $300. So it turns out that Zondervan and Tyndale parted ways on the NIV Life Application because Zondervan owns the rights to the NIV and Tyndale has the rights to the Life Application. But Zondervan didn't leave us hanging. This is the NIV Application Bible. So not the Life Application, but the Application Bible. And it has some similarities to the Life Application, but I think you'll like this maybe a little bit more. I do. I like it a little more. For one, it's not as bulky, but two, it's full color. So here's the plan. I'll show you the review of this. We'll do some Bible trivia. Today's trivia is going to be on the Apostle Paul. And then after that, I'll do a more thorough flip through so you can see more of this with just some music. Let's get into it. I got the hardcover versus the leather soft because I wanted to see if when you take this dust jacket off, what's underneath. Is this dust jacket just covering up a plain hardback, or did they actually print this design on the hardcover? So they did. They printed it on the hardcover, and I really like that. Let me get that out of the way. So they printed it there on the front, and then it kind of wraps around here, and then they put NIV Application Bible horizontal, so you lay this flat, you can still read it easily. And I like to lay my Bibles flat. So there's no gilding on, it's just a white edge paper, 2 ribbons. These are 1/4 inch gold and a off-white tailband and a white headband. And then on the back there's Zondervan and then ISBN number. Let's open it up. So as you might imagine, it is a hardcover, so it's paper, paste down liner. Presentation page, it's just on regular paper. And for the price of this, I'm totally fine with that. Contents, the NIV preface. Let me get through this front matter here. So it gives you something I want to say real quick is this Bible, it will lay flat. I mean, right out of the, so, I mean, not even a page, it lays flat immediately. Okay, book introductions, maps and charts. There's 66 book introductions, so every book of this Bible, or of the Bible, has book introduction. There's 46 maps, so they put a lot of in-text or inline maps in here, so there's 46 of those, and then 52 charts they put throughout. Then they have the original meaning notes, or your commentary. Some people call it study notes, and then application notes. So these application notes, which I'll show you in a minute, those are actually what would be similar to the Life Application. And I'll try to remember because I want to show you a comparison between the Life Application notes and these notes. Not that I'm trying to compare the two, but I just want to show you a difference. Questions for growth, and there's it says nearly 1,200, so we'll just call it over 1,000. People to know articles, there's 150 of those, and then character of God articles, 52 of those. And see, I put that arrow there for a reason. I knew I would probably forget it. When you get the NIV Application Bible, it comes with the free access to the digital version of the Application Bible. I'm trying to find my words there. So I tested this out. You just scan that, and it'll take you to where you can download the NIV app, and then it'll load up the application Bible for you, and it's really neat. They did a really good job with it. So it'll be like you have text, and then it'll be like a little green icon, and just click on the icon, and it gives you the application notes. And it gives you other stuff too. It gives you maps and some other features too. So I recommend checking that out. And here it tells you about the application the commentary in here. And a chronology or a timeline. That's a couple pages. And then we get into the Old Testament, if I can get a hold of the paper. And in the Old Testament. Instead of showing you Genesis, I'm going to jump up to Joshua, because I really like, and here's what I want to show. This is what I really like. I like that they put really good color in this. I hope the camera is really showing this, because the blues in this and just the rocky outcropping here and the structures here, they did a really good job with this imagery. All these colors look really good. Like I said earlier, every book in the Bible has a book introduction just like this. A different image, of course, and obviously different text, but the layout, I should say, is the same in every book. So you're going to have the author, the audience, the date, theme, and then reading Joshua. So going to give you like a little quick excerpt of what Joshua is about, or what that book is about, perspective, and then taking next steps. And then here's some verses that they recommend that you might consider memorizing, and then a timeline at the top. And then the taking the next steps continues over here. And then here is what to look for in Joshua, kind of like a little outline. And then right here is those questions that they call questions for growth. And I put my little note here for myself, if I forgot to tell you earlier, that there's 1,000 plus, so over 1,000. They say nearly 1,200. I don't know what their definition of nearly 1,200 is, so I just called it 1,000 plus. And people to know, these are sprinkled throughout the Bible, and there's 153 of those. And at the bottom of the people to know, there's a application. So this would be similar. You might think of it as life application. They don't call it that. They just call it application. But this is an application note. And then down here in your commentary or your study notes, they have application notes, and these are separated by blue background, or like they're in like a blue box. And I'm going to show you. I like this better than the life application. I'm not picking on the life application, but I'm just showing that what makes it different. Let me switch here. Let me get over to, I lost my page here. Let me get over to Joshua. So right here, we can see that. Let me hold it up there so you can see it. In the life application, what they did was, it's just study notes, and then like right here, I think looks like last couple sentences would be life application. So then when you leave or are promoted, operations can continue to run efficiently if you aspire to be a leader, and it goes on. There's no separation from the actual study note to the life application like they do in this. Let's jump ahead. And here's 2 Samuel. I didn't really have anything to show you here, other than I just wanted to give you another book introduction so you could see the imagery, or the picture that they put in here. Chronology of foreign kings. So there's quite a few of these charts. I think, what was there, 50 some of these, I think. I have to go back and look. Let me just go back there and look real quick, so I'm not telling you wrong. Maps and charts, 46 maps, yeah, 52 charts. I guess they're considering that a chart. And here's some of those maps that they put in line. You'll see more of these when I do the flip through with the music. I really like this, is that they included kind of some commentary with these maps here. And here's Character of God. This one is titled God is a Shepherd. There's 52 of these sprinkled throughout. And then here's some more of those questions for growth, your application commentary. We'll jump over to the New Testament. A nice outline, or not outline, sorry, timeline, chronology, timeline, same thing. And then prophecies fulfilled by Jesus here, several pages of that. And then the introduction to Matthew. The print in this is, the type size is a 9.5. I'm guessing this down here is probably, I'm going to guess an 8. They don't say. Then right here, there's parallel verses. So in the Gospels here, so you got the genealogy here in Matthew. They're going to give you the parallel, which is in Luke 3:23 through 38. Then it also gives you parallels from the New Testament to the Old Testament also. Another map, people to know. Some more maps. They're all about some maps in here. People to know John the Baptist. Christ's words are in red. As you can see, this is a 2-column layout with your references and translator notes in between that it does spill over to the right when needed. And this is this is paragraph, but it goes verse by verse in the poetics areas. Let me jump back here to Isaiah. See if I can find it. Yeah, here's a good place. So right here, you're in paragraph format, and then over here, it's verse by verse. Try to call out some of these other colors. This is kind of a plum. So Matthew, so the book name and the chapter and verse is kind of a purple plum color, and then the chapter number is in bold and kind of a purple. Let me bring that up closer to the camera, and hopefully it'll pick up that color. Everything else is pretty much in black. Well, you do have the title here, Jesus Tested in the Wilderness, and that's kind of a I want to say a gold color, but it might be like a light brown. This here is in kind of a darker brown. So Jesus calls his first disciples. That's in a dark brown. In the study notes, the chapter and verse number is in a bold black, and then all the text down here is in black. And except for your application notes, the symbol and chapter verse numbers in that kind of that plum color. I wanted to interrupt just for a second because I thought of something after I had recorded the overhead portion. And so I wanted to jump in here, put this in here now so that there wouldn't be any confusion, or in case you were wondering, is the NIV Application Bible, is it the same as the NIV Application Commentary? So the answer to that is yes and no. So the commentary that's in this is based on that, and it even tells you down here. But I did some spot checks on it, and I could see that it was very, very similar. Now, you're not getting the same amount of commentary that's in this. You're not going to get the same amount in this. This is going to be more concise. But anyway, I just wanted to jump in here and let you all know that. So if you have any questions about that, or you want me to like kind of compare something for you between the two, just let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to do that. All right, back to the overhead. And then there's a Harmony of the Gospels. This is several pages long. Book of Acts. All right, let's go ahead and go to the back here. There and get through this, and then we can start our trivia up. Table weights and measures, features index. So this lists all of your different articles. And then here's the different maps that are throughout the text. I think there's 2 pages there. So I can get them apart. There we go. Contributors, they've got, you might recognize some of these names. I do recognize some of them. And they're from all different denominations. I can tell you that they're from all the way from the left all the way to the right. So it's a good blend. A couple reading plans. This one is 52 weeks on the character of God. So it's going to be 2 weeks on life and teaching of Jesus, 2 weeks on Paul, 2 weeks on Old Testament, and so on. And then 1 year reading plan. They also include a 3-year reading plan, and I was kind of, where's it at? Here it is. I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to do this. It says here this 3-year plan typically assigns only one chapter a day. So I'm not sure if, I'm assuming you're going to read Genesis 1 on day 1 and then chapter 2 on day 2 and so on and so forth. And then you go to reading the New Testament, Matthew chapter 1 through 9, then go back to Exodus, then back to Matthew. Yeah, I see what they're doing now. So you're going back and forth between the Old and New Testament. I do see that some days you're going to read more than one chapter. So like there. All right. Dictionary concordance. That's a whole bunch of pages there. Some photo credits. Index to the maps. So this is your index to these maps back here. And there's 16 color maps. And these maps are on just regular paper. So this is the regular paper that was all throughout this whole Bible, and it's non-glossy, so you won't get any glare on these maps. These are just really nice maps. There we go. Let's do some trivia. All right, let's get into that. Trivia on the Apostle Paul. Question number 1. After Paul's conversion, he went into Arabia and Damascus. Then 3 years later, he went to visit a man. Paul spent 15 days with that man. Who was that man? That man was the Apostle Peter. Question number 2. Paul was skilled in a trade. What was that trade? That trade was tent making. Question number 3. Paul was from what tribe? Paul was from the tribe of Benjamin. All right, last question. Paul was Jewish, and he was also a citizen of... Paul was also a Roman citizen. So if you chose United Kingdom, I'm sorry. All right, I hope y'all enjoyed that trivia. If y'all want to pick up the life, see? If y'all want to pick up the NIV Application Bible, I'll put the link in the description. And y'all take care. I'm praying for you. I'll see you all soon. In the next review, I'm going to do the King James in red goat skin. Take care. Bye.